through the court system. So at the end of part 7, I played the rest of the hearing that we had on March 8th, 2021 in the New Haven Superior Court. That hearing was for a restraining order that I filed against him on March 1st, 2021. If you didn't listen to it, you can go back and listen to parts 6 and 7, which has the entire full hearing, which was in front of Maureen Price Borland in New Haven. And at the end, she dismissed the restraining order. So the day that I filed for that restraining order, it was granted. That day was March 1st, 2021. On that same date of March 1st, 2021, right after I filed the restraining order and it was granted, Matt immediately went to the court and he filed a motion for contempt against me. His motion for contempt against me that he filed on March 1st, 2021 in the custody case was the very first post-judgment motion that was filed in our custody case since it went to final judgment in 2019. This is the contempt motion that he filed against me. He says that the mother is not following the court order because mother withheld child from father for 4 weeks, and then when father had child, mother refused to pick up child unless father agreed not to go to court. Mother has refused to take back child, leaving child with father for majority of time. First of all, none of that is true. And when he filed this, the court order said that I had primary residency and that dad's visits would be worked out on a week-by-week basis between the two of us. So there was no schedule. There was no scheduled parenting time for him. And so I never refused to take my daughter back. He literally just decided to do this after I got a restraining order on him to retaliate. And in that restraining order hearing, it was my second time going for a hearing to try to get a restraining order against him. Both times they were granted, and then when I went to court without a lawyer, without knowing what I was doing, I was denied the restraining order after the hearing. And almost immediately after that restraining order hearing ended on March 8th, 2021, Matthew began sending me more emails trying to beg me to be back with him. He sent me a picture of a bouquet of roses via email minutes after the restraining order hearing ended, telling me that he bought them for me and that he wanted me to be back with him. This was the start of him spending 2 straight months sending me money, gifts, flowers, and openly begging for me on his Instagram and Facebook publicly for the world to see while I was actively in a relationship with someone else. Also, on the same date of March 8th, 2021, after the restraining order hearing was over, he also went straight to the clerk's office and filed a motion for modification in our custody case. This is his motion for modification. He says that the court ordered him to pay $120 a week in child support and have visits at parent's discretion, primary residency with me in joint legal custody, and for him to pay 50% of child care and unreimbursed medical. Explain the facts and the reasons why you want this modification. Since the date of the order, the circumstances in this case have changed substantially as follows. Parents can no longer agree to terms of visitation. The order for child support is substantially different from current support because lost job. He's asking that they lower his child support, and he's asking that they modify custody to give him primary residency. So he's saying that he has no job and that he can't pay child support, but he wants primary residency now. Then it says, how do you want to modify visitation? He says he wants to modify it so mother will take daughter Friday night until Monday morning. So he's telling the court he wants to change it. So instead of me having primary residency, he would have primary residency, and I would only see my daughter a few nights a week on the weekend, while he says he doesn't want to pay child support because he has no job. He also asked that the court pay for the $180 filing fee to file that motion for modification, as well as the $100 fee for a marshal to serve me the paperwork. And he filed this fee waiver, which contains perjury and lies about his income and finances. So this is the fee waiver that he filed. He put that he was asking for the marshal fee and the filing fee. He put that he has a car that's worth $4,500 that he owes $9,500 on, a credit card that he owes $3,000 on that he pays $150 a month. He claims that he pays $500 a month in rent, $300 in food, and $100 in clothes, and $200 in transportation. And that he put his total, then he said he pays $1,114 a month in child support. And he put his monthly expenses at $2,214. And he says that he has 3 dependents, but 0 monthly income. Okay, he did this under penalty of perjury. If you claim 0 monthly income, answer the following. Explain how you are supported. I just left my job and I live with mother. Been living off reserves but running out. That's another lie. His mother has never once charged him rent ever in his life. His mother's house is paid off and he lives there for free in her basement. And at this time, he was collecting pandemic unemployment insurance from the state of Connecticut, and he was getting about $1,000 a week for free collecting unemployment, and he was starting his own business. So on March 12th, 2021, a few days after the restraining order hearing, I filed a motion for contempt as my first post-judgment motion in the custody case, and this is my motion for contempt. So in mine, I say here that he is refusing to pay any child support or child care, and he refuses all attempts I have made to set up visitation. Defendant is refusing to see his daughter. He repeatedly cancels planned parenting time and refuses all calls, emails, etc. He also refuses to pay child care and child support. That's my motion for contempt that I filed against him. On that same day of March 12th, 2021, I also filed a motion for modification, and this is my motion for modification. On here, I'm saying since the date of the order, the circumstances have changed substantially as followed. Father is refusing to see the child and refuses to pay child support. He's also refusing to pay child care costs. I was asking that the court order current support, order that he contribute to child care, order immediate income withholding, and that I was requesting that he take her from Thursday evening to Monday morning as previously agreed upon. I also said I wanted to modify visitation parenting time so that the child is with her father Thursday evening through Monday morning every weekend, and that all communication would be strictly via email, and that I would have the right of first refusal. On March 29th, 2021, Child Support Enforcement Services officially entered in a notice of 4D Child Support Enforcement Services in our case, which you can see here. They filed this to state that this is a enforcement matter under Title 4D and that they are now a party to the case to make sure that he paid his child support. So after all those things were filed, we were scheduled to have hearings on my pending motion for modification, his pending motion for modification, and both of our pending motions for contempt in the summer of 2021. Keep in mind, all of those motions were filed in March 2021, and our court date was not scheduled until July of 2021. So it just shows you that if there's an issue and you have to wait 3 to 4 months to get a hearing, how inefficient the court system really is. Also, at the end of April of 2021, after I ended things with the boyfriend that I had, I gave in to Matthew's excessive begging for me back. He promised me that if I started to be intimate with him again, that he would give me anything in the world that I wanted. He was buying me gifts, he was giving me money all the time, and taking me to expensive dinners and love bombing me like crazy. I made the mistake of thinking that sleeping with him again would make things more amicable in spite of his actions in the past. He told me that he had just started his new remodeling company in April of 2021, Whole House Remodeling Company, LLC. He said he was making more money than he ever made in his entire life, and he wanted me to be part of his success before he became filthy rich so that I could be there to see him grow in his business. He kept threatening that he would make sure that if I didn't agree to be with him, that he would go back to the court and make sure that he got sole custody of Angelina, and he would make sure that I would have to pay him child support. I had no idea the type of connections he had in the court system until years later, but at that time, his constant harassment, stalking, threats, and overall character were concerning. Follow for part 9 to see what happens after that.